All right, Austin. Emilio
Here we go.
Pagan threw a
Can you
splitter
shut it down?
first pitch, strike. That's a good thing. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. For those that maybe are unaware, Pagan actually didn't come in a save situation yesterday because he said like something in his hand was hurting. Um, and he makes a great play there, which is to get one out. Got his uniform dirty. But they said they got it imaged or whatever and said everything was okay. So he's in tonight. First two pitches, throws a splitter, gets it out. So the finger must be feeling okay.
Yeah, and after that diving play, hopefully the hammy's feeling okay too, but looks good so far.
Yeah. I didn't even think about the hammy. Oh gosh. Hey, two pitches, one out. That is, I can be all right with that. And that's the guy you want to get out, right? Marcy, because now you got their two best hitters, Xavier Edwards and Otto Lopez, coming.
In a night of efficiency.
I know. I think he just
time.
maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. And now he got his stuff all dirty. So
yeah, it's City Connects. Got to be clean.
That's right. Welcome in, everybody. We appreciate you joining us on an early Friday night. Go figure, man. There's a concert after. That's why we started early. Is that what we're? Is that
yeah, man. Rick Ross, the boss.
Oh boy, man, I'm real sad I didn't make that one.
His fans are filling in the end of the game. They probably thought they had more time to get down there.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about that later. But boy, this game has scooted along. It is 8:26, and we are in the bottom of the or top of the ninth inning. So there you go. As Edwards fouls off pitch number 2, making it a 1-1 count. Oh, we were talking before we got on the air. Are you heading any games coming up here soon? You said you're going to be in Chicago.
Yeah, I will be in Chicago the weekend the Reds are out there. Trying to figure out if I'll go potentially either Friday or Saturday, but nothing locked in yet. The tickets, man, like bleacher seats are like $140. Like it's nuts, but
that's tough. As Xavier Edwards flies out to Dane Meyer for 2 outs in the inning. Like to see that, Pagan. Anyway, so you're saying
going into games coming up? No, that's really all I got.
I don't have anything scheduled. We try to go to one a month as a family. So we're probably going to get in there at some point. But August's just been real busy for us. We got a lot of stuff going on. I've been doing a little bit of traveling for work. So just having to follow the Reds from good old Columbus.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. Strike 1 to Lopez. I'll tell you what. Well, I'm not going to say anything. We're not in the business of it. Yeah, we're not in the business of I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious is how I feel about this.
You and Michael Scott.
Yes.
Strike
2. Strike 2. All right, Pagan. Let's go. Let's finish this off. Oh man, what a night for pitching. We're
on their feet.
Are you you've been over to the tarps off section when you've gone and seen the game? No? You're not a tarps off guy?
That nobody wants to see that. I look like Rick Ross with my shirt off, basically. So no, I'm not doing that. I like to see it though. Like it's good for the environment, but not me.
Yeah. I think I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old boy, and they desperately want to go over there and take their shirts off. So
right. And then you can't just like stand there if you don't have your shirt off.
I mean, I might just stand there and let them go, because similarly, they don't want to see this farmer's tan.
Right. So we got to even it out.
Looks like Stephenson got something in his eye. Nice little tactic to give Pagan a little breather here with some intensity. I like it.
Maybe a little gamesmanship.
All right. Their best hitter, Otto Lopez, guy who made the All-Star game instead of Elly. Let's get him right here. Ground ball, foul. That was even a little fair. He's getting thrown out by Key Bryan, who is now at third base for defense.
Yeah, we were talking probably leave him in the game after they didn't open it up, but
Yeah. Hey, he obviously didn't get a hit. I guess he did get a hit, but he didn't drive in a run. But he kept the line moving for Dane Myers in the last inning. So, nice little block there. 2-2 pitch. It is 2-2 now. 2 outs. 1-0 lead for the Reds. Hopefully, Pagan can close this guy out. Welcome in, everybody in the chat. We appreciate everybody that's joining us here on an early Friday night. If you could, please like the stream. Oh, ball off the end of the bat. Ball out to Dane Myers, and that will do it. Cincinnati Reds win 1-0 over your Miami Marlins to start off a homestand here. And we will see you on the other side of the greatest intro in sports. Maybe.
And a bench to bench. Change in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. And the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. You believe it. Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Hawkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead, 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatterberg's a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my. That is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Line into right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Austin, look at that. a winning edition of Chatterbox Reds. I know we're not Nick and Trace, but we're here to talk about the Reds game anyway. We appreciate everybody that's in here. Yeah, Reds 1-0 win. Remember when we used to lose all those games 1-0? Do you remember those? I don't remember that. I choose not to remember that. But they, pull off an incredible pitching performance and frankly get a little bit fortunate based on a play out in left field. And hey, we'll come away with a win. That's pretty great. Austin, how are you doing on a day like today?
Hey, doing well, man. If the Reds are going to win, they make it a quick, efficient game. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You can still enjoy. It's 8:30 in here in the Eastern time zone. You can still enjoy the rest of your night. Like you can't really draw it up any better. Doing well, man. Glad to be on.
Yeah, glad to have you as well. Yeah, still a little bit of sunlight even too. It's great. It's great. It's going to be a good night. It's not raining. At least it's not in Columbus. I don't know about Cincinnati, but starting to wonder if the deluge was coming for us all, but I'm glad that it stopped raining. But yeah, Reds winners here. It's going to be an interesting one to talk about because we not really that much happened, but really good to see a team after a pretty big emotional win in Chicago come back home and have pretty much a pretty business-like win over the Marlins. So yeah, what are your thoughts on how opening up this homestand after the events of the past 24 hours or so?
Yeah, obviously good to get a win after, like you mentioned, Hunter Greene news and whatnot, especially this week. But yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm not going to try to say that the Reds are still a team, in the hunt or anything like that, but it's good to see them at least take care of business against a team, with a sub 500 record, trying to get, any wins they can and at least make it fun to watch. Like that, like if you're here probably watching this stream, obviously, or, like Mike and I, like at least watching the Reds every night. So if you're going to watch, you want to see a win. So wasn't the biggest offensive explosion, which we'll get into, but hey, we'll still take it. It's baseball.
Yeah. I know that most of us are pretty pessimistic that they're going to be able to jump all those teams to make it into the wild card. But Miami was one of those teams ahead of them, so they had to have this win. Hopefully, can carry it on into the series. We're going to talk about the up next as well. And let's just say Brady Singer has had significantly less success against the Marlins as Chase Burns has. So good to get this win with your anytime you have your ace on the field to get that win. But yeah, I don't think they're going to make it, but I'm sure it's not going to cheer for them anyway. I'm going to be as positive as I can, and hopefully we'll be able to, pull off a miracle like last year. That'd be pretty good. Before we dive too much into it, Austin, I believe you have the box score recap. But before that, we need to thank some sponsors. Chatterbox Reds is brought to you by Sharefax Credit Union. Sharefax Credit Union offers everything you need from a bank, checking, and savings accounts, credit cards, loans, and mortgages, but with one important difference. Sharefax is owned by its members, not outside shareholders. That means profits are returned to the members through lower loan rates, higher savings yields, and fewer fees. With 9 Cincinnati area branches, more than 37,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide, Sharefax makes banking convenient. Learn more at sharefax.org. All right, Austin, hit me with that box score recap.
All right, I got you. It was game one, Marlins at the Reds, and I guess I stand corrected. They come in, Marlins did with a 62-60 record. It's now 62-61. So they're not sub 500, but kind of felt like it at least. But yeah, this was a pitcher's duel to say the least. Chase Burns versus Sandy Alcantara, two of the best in the game. Two guys both pitching very well coming into this game as well. And they both held true to their reputation. I mean, we didn't really have any action from the offensive side on this one until the 6th inning. It was the bottom of the 6th that the Reds got on the board. Tyler Stephenson reached on a fielder's choice and then scored on a double to left field by Eugenio Suarez. It was kind of a misplay by the left fielder Hernandez for the Marlins. Missed the ball, kind of sliding on a play that he really shouldn't have slid forward and tried to get the way he did. So ball got past him. Tyler Stephenson, who's by far not the fastest guy on the team, ended up scoring from first. If you can see the video on that, definitely watch it because he was running pretty hard for a catcher, which is always fun to see. But got to show off his blazing speed, scoring from first base. And it also ended Alcantara's stretch of 25 scoreless innings. So after 6, the Reds had a 1-0 lead. as you know, that's where the score would hold. But really, like I mentioned, the stats from this game and the box score notables were the two starting pitchers. So they both went 7 innings. Burns had 4 hits, 8 Ks, and no walks, which is awesome to see. 93 pitches. Alcantara also went 7, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 8 walks, and 2 Ks for him. But that is your box score recap as I had it.
All right. And that brings us to the deep drive of the day. Now, we didn't have a deep drive of the day in Cincinnati, so we had to go all the way down. I believe they're at Lake County. Justin LeBron, first-round draft pick by the Cincinnati Reds in 2006, hits his first professional home run, first of his career, hopefully first of many, on a fly ball to left field. It would tie the game up with Lake County. You'll have to find out later on whether or not they will have won that game. But Dayton's win probability jumped up 12.5%, up to 47.3%. It doesn't look like we have exit velo or distance on there, but we know, I saw a little bit of a clip of the video. It was definitely not a cheapie. He definitely got a hold of one. So congratulations, LeBron. Hopefully we'll be able to see him flourish in Dayton and then move up quickly through the Reds minor league system. The deep drive of the day is brought to you by Braxton Brewing Company, of course, the official craft beer partner of the Cincinnati Reds. Crack open a Ballpark Beer, a crisp German-style light beer crafted perfectly for 9 innings and hot summer nights. Grab a cold one at Great American Ballpark, Braxton taprooms, or your local retailer. Braxton Brewing, brewed for Reds country. All right, let's start where we all need to start. Like the main story coming out of this game is just how filthy Chase Burns looked. Obviously, you mentioned 7 innings pitched, only 4 hits, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. Looks like he recorded 13 swings and misses. He was efficient. He was nasty. He hit over 100 today. What else is there to say about Chase Burns that we haven't already talked about, frankly, Austin?
I lost you, Mike.
Looks like oh, I'm here. Are you? Can you hear me?
I got you now. Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, crazy night for Burns, man. I mean, he was on fire tonight. Really pitch efficient. The walks, obviously, especially, was a good bright side to see, not hitting any of those. And then really the strikeouts. I mean, he obviously has done this kind of all year, but I think Burns, I mean, if you're going to get this late in the year, everybody's talking innings limits and things like that. Like, if he's going to go deep into games, you got to be pitch efficient. So really awesome to see.
Yeah, like I mentioned, it just looked comfortable out there. Even when he gave up some hits, it just was like, this guy is, a bona fide number 1 for this team. It was really cool to see, got the strikeouts when he needed and just like had really nasty stuff, which is actually really encouraging to see because they showed the graphic, right? He has now far surpassed his innings that he's ever pitched in a season, right? He's already over 20, maybe even 25 innings past what he did last year, which is the most he's ever done. So it's good. Obviously, the whole point is for him to be, at full capacity, being able to pitch a whole season. So that's a good thing. But that does kind of bring up in question a little bit, like, is Chase Burns going to get shut down? Should he be shut down? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? We've heard a lot of murmuring that eventually he will, and what that will look like, whether that's a move to the bullpen like last year or whether it is just a phantom IL for the rest of the year. So what are your thoughts on how maybe the Reds will end up treating Chase Burns for the rest of the season there, Austin?
Yeah, I could see it ending up similar to last year where he ends up maybe going into the bullpen. I would say sometime in September probably, but I don't know. I guess I haven't heard much as far as what their kind of official plan is. It seems like they're kind of in like a wait and see approach, and everybody talks about Francona managing on vibes, and I think it's kind of one of those situations where he's kind of doing the eye test and seeing, is he looking gassed or anything like that. So I don't know necessarily what they will do. What I think they should do, if the Reds end up, staying at kind of this point where they're, 5-6 games out of the wild card, if that kind of holds or even obviously gets worse, I think there's really no reason to push it with Burns, especially with kind of the pitching health headlines we've seen in the past week out of this team. But I think it's one of those situations where you would still like to see him finish the season with the active, team. And if he can do that in the bullpen, it's a good way to do it probably, and work him in, every, so many days, and kind of keep him on a schedule, but not make him go, 7 innings like he did tonight. I think that would be probably the smart move, but it'll be interesting. What are your thoughts on what they should end up doing or will do?
Yeah, it's going to be tough too, because, I don't know. I think this team probably has the schedule to stay in this race into September. Now, I think we've all looked at that September schedule and see Brewers, Dodgers, and are like, well, I don't know how we survive that and getting to the playoffs. So maybe by then, when it like really starts being like mathematically, we're not going to get there. Maybe then that's when you are able to do something. But if he feels good, man, like today, he went 7 innings, like saves your bullpen, coming up on a huge stretch where you're playing, I think, like you don't have another day off for another 15 days. And that includes a doubleheader that's in there somewhere or something ridiculous. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but it's just like, there's a hard stretch of games coming. And like with him being able to do that, like, to be honest, I don't know who else in this rotation is able to give your bullpen basically almost a day off when, you still have to play a game, right? So I don't know. Maybe he's able to help them get through some of these dog days in August, and then when September rolls around. But man, I'll tell you what, I would love seeing Chase Burns go up against that Dodgers lineup. It's just like, hey, we still got a chance because this guy's got filthy stuff. So yeah, I think it probably ends up like you mentioned, but we'll see. I think it's frankly going to be, and this is one thing that I do appreciate about Terry Francona. I know that we've had a lot of, we've been on the record here talking about a lot of the things that he does that are not my favorite, but being able to like just be in constant contact on how the pitcher feels about it, I think is something that can be pretty helpful. Rather than just being like, here's our innings limit, you're here, you're done. You know what I mean? I think that there's definitely feel when it comes to that I think he may be able to help us out with. So yeah, I don't know. That wasn't a very definitive answer, but I can be thankful for every start that we get, because boy, he looks good.
And I think I was just going to say, I think I'd probably put more weight on, like, if he is going to be a starter, keep it kind of, maybe 90 pitches. That's kind of the limit. And as far as how he goes in games, like, I'm fine with him like continuing to start, but if he's going to go out there and, I don't think there's any world where he needs to be pitching like over 100 pitches in a game, just kind of, especially this late in the year. I think that's where, at least, and I'm saying this as like not a pitching coach at all, but I would think that would be more taxing, as far as like having games where he goes, 100 plus pitches is kind of worse for his arm than continuing to start, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If he can keep it kind of efficient outings, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the dirty little secret is that everyone kind of talks like they do know, but nobody actually really knows. I've heard a lot about stressful innings, right? Like, yeah, maybe you throw a lot of pitches and stuff like that, but you never really had too much. Like today, I don't think he had very many stressful innings. And we've seen outings where, especially with other pitchers, where it's like you got traffic on the bases all the time, you get some really good plays, and you get bailed out, and you've had some really stressful innings. So it's just like, I think it's just like managing the fatigue so that you're able to continue to keep recovering in a way that you're not going to get injured, I think is ultimately what that is. So, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm a pitching guru. And to be honest, a lot of the pitching gurus that say they know what they're talking about and keeping people healthy, I don't think they quite are. They're not really that great experts either, because, you got people that are still, every year, a whole section of the best pitchers are going down and getting hurt. So yeah, I do want to give one quick shout out to the bullpen. Brock Burke and Pagan looked awesome. Brock Burke, I think 3 batters, 3 strikeouts. Pagan, we were worried about that splitter in his fingers. They said came out through 2 splitters as his first 2 pitches. And frankly, besides him tumbling on the first base line, trying to throw a guy out of first base, like a pretty uneventful bullpen outing, which has been pretty good. And frankly, I think part of the reason why the Reds have kind of turned things around, it's just like the bullpen has settled in, is not as super taxed, get people going into their different roles the way they need to. And I think because of that, we've seen some some positive outcomes from the bullpen.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, you mentioned Brock Burke, 3 strikeouts tonight. Pagan, no strikeouts, but no walks either from anybody in the bullpen. No walks from any Reds pitcher in the game. We talked about
Ooh,
Burns.
well, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that stat.
long time viewers and listeners remember early in the season where it was laughable how many walks this bullpen was giving up. Like not really funny laughing, but kind of crying laughing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great sign to see. And you mentioned Pagan. I mean, I think he has kind of been a guy that's gotten some flack too by the Reds fan base over the course of the season, but really has looked pretty good lately, I would say. And just an efficient game tonight. Obviously, I think it was one of those games where like everything just kind of worked as planned. You got the 1 run you need. The pitches were all efficient, and you're already done with it. So I'll take that every time. And it was good to see they didn't have to like end up, burning through multiple guys in the bullpen after, Burns gave you 7, because that would have been kind of silly. So glad everybody kind of held their end of the bargain.
Yeah, I think, and that kind of brings us to our next discussion, because while the pitching was very good and incredible, it kind of papers over the fact that this offense only scored 1 run. Now, don't get me wrong, Sandy Alcantara is a very good pitcher and is a very good pitcher against this like Reds line. Like, I think he didn't have he only had like 3 swing and misses, or 1 swing and miss in the first 6 innings or something like that. He didn't even record a strikeout into the 7th inning. It was funny. Sadak was like building it up with Larkin, and he's going on. It's like, oh man, I can't believe he hasn't strike anybody out. And there's like, yeah, that's just pitching. It's great. And then immediately Noelvi Marte strikes out. I was like, maybe save the no strikeout discussion for a guy that is not striking out 30% of the time. But it ended up working out. But I guess, that being said, we can kind of look at this offense and see, hey, if the left fielder just lets that ball drop in front of him, they're probably still playing because it's a 0-0 game. So like, what were you seeing out of this offense? Did they just run up against some really good pitching, or is there's some additional things to be concerned about here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's things to be concerned about, not necessarily now, but there have been kind of the entire season. I think it was the perfect mix of really good pitcher versus an offense that's not, super explosive anyway. So I think that, led to obviously the quick game too, and, in terms of time and innings, speeding by and things like that. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. I think the Reds kind of got bailed out by the misplay in left field, and then even some other kind of defensive miscues by the Marlins. But yeah, they needed it tonight because they really didn't have much going at all, especially those first 7 innings essentially, and even after that. But I think they mentioned it during the broadcast too. Alcantara had like at one point 6 1-pitch outs or something like that. So it was a bunch of guys like pretty much getting out immediately. And yeah, you don't need a lot of strikeouts when you do that. And he didn't have obviously a lot of them, but he was pitching to kind of quick contact and being efficient that way. And I don't know. I mean, I think it would be alarming if this was like kind of the first time we've seen that out of this Reds offense, but I think we're kind of like, yeah, it's kind of what you expect out of them, to be honest with you. But I don't know. It was one of those nights where you didn't really get the kind of, carrying of the offense by the guys at the top. I know Elly was 0 for, I think, and Sal maybe had 1 hit, but yeah, just a quick game. And if it's going to be quick, then you're really not having a lot of offense for sure.
Yeah, Elly drew a walk, still got on base. Sal Stewart obviously had that double in the 8th inning. Tyler Stephenson continues to hit well, 1 for 4, but also 3 hard hit balls. So, I mean, the issue that is, I think, that we still see here is obviously Elly and Sal didn't have banner days, but weren't awful, right? It's just like this bottom of the lineup is just so like we can't like string. They've been so dependent on the home run, because when you have to string together a bunch of hits to drive in runs, that requires like length with your order, right? It requires, Sal and Elly to get on, and then maybe Stevenson, but then you need Suarez, Tolia, Brian Hayes, Noelvi Marte, Matt McLean, those folks to get you in, if those guys are the ones getting on base. And like, that is your issue, right? Those are all folks that have struggled mightily offensively. And I think that's why this Reds offense has kind of lived or died by the home run, because it's just like, well, if you home run, then you don't have to worry about anybody driving you else in. Now, it's not great when you don't homer, but hey, the Reds steal one where they don't homer. I'd be interested to see what the stats are for wins wins that the Reds have when they don't homer, because I can imagine it's probably not very high, especially this year. So, yeah, I think it just kind of was a microcosm of what this season was. You're lucky to get a win when your offense feels like this. They're facing a much more somebody they can handle much better tomorrow. So hopefully that will go a little bit better. But yeah, it's still concerning to see, but you're happy that you were able to escape with the win.
Yeah, and especially given the pitching matchup too, like winning this game out of the series was probably the one that you could see maybe coming in and be like, all right, well, they're not going to probably beat Alcantara. Like, that's understandable. But the fact that you got to squeak by with the win and yeah, like you mentioned, a little bit more favorable matchup tomorrow, I think bodes well, and at least build some momentum in the beginning of the series to one, not get swept, but two, you're setting yourself up for, if you take one of the next two, then you won the series. So we will take it.
Yes, I completely agree. All right, let us move on to our good friends Richter and Phillips. So Richter and Phillips, as we know, on Thursdays have these first look appointments that are available for us. We thank you, Richter and Phillips, for being sponsors of Chatterbox Reds. But these first look appointments can be, they're an appointment that are designed for people just starting their engagement ring journey. You can try on engagement rings in person, compare styles, ask questions, and learn about yours at your own pace with a dedicated jewelry specialist. Perfect for shopping solo or with your special someone. It's along with you, available on Thursday evenings where they are open late between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. So keep an eye out for that one. Yesterday after the day game, could have hopped into Richter and Phillips and book on their website or link, which is in our description. Thank you, Richter and Phillips, for sponsoring Chatterbox Reds. All right, let's go. We have a couple super chats, some people asking what we're thinking about that. So let's go ahead and get them started. We start with Justin Edgel, member for 34 months. Wow, that's a long time. Here for the W's, not for the F list. Seahawks Red Screws. Oh man, Trace and Nick work so hard at this. Like, they are allowed to take some days off. Like, it is shockingly difficult to do this for so many Reds games like they do. They do so many of them. So sorry you get starter 4 and starter 5 in the rotation tonight. We're going to do our best to help you. We appreciate you still watching, Justin, but those guys deserve a rest. They do an awesome job. And we appreciate
innings eaters. That's what we are.
Yeah. That's yeah. We're the guys. We're the bulk relievers. We're in here to eat innings in the dog days. Just get us to the playoffs. So sorry to disappoint. I feel like we're not the F list, right? We're definitely not the A list. We know who the A list guys are, but we got a little bit in there. Jacob Doyle, $5 super chat. Is it crazy to think Hunter Greene should be the closer in 2027? Looks like he followed up. I think he means 2028. Yeah, that would be my thought on there, because I think all of 2027 is going to be gone. Like, I don't think he's going to pitch because of Tommy John. That's an interesting thought. What do you think about that, Austin? Moving somebody with electric stuff like Hunter Greene to the bullpen.
I hadn't thought about that before. I think, yeah, maybe stuff wise, it kind of makes sense, but I still think that probably Greene profiles as a starter, when he comes back, which will be essentially 2 years from now. So that'll be a discussion for a different day, but I don't know. I think I would still see him. I don't know if it plays into it. Obviously, salary wise, they probably want to make him a starter if they can. And then kind of piece the bullpen together as they can with, whoever's still around at that point or free agents, et cetera. But I don't know. I'm not totally in on making him a closer just yet, I guess, but crazy things could happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. I still think he provides more value being able to, come out of be a starter. We saw, when healthy last year, just like how dominant he could be. He was dropping his walk rate. Like, he looked so good. He was so helpful down the stretch. As we were making that push to the playoffs, I know he did have a regrettable wild card game, right? And it's been back and forth on whether he was tipping his pitches or not. But, I still think that when healthy, he's able to deliver far more value, getting 6, 7 innings, 5, 6 innings, maybe out as a starter. But, that is if healthy. I mean, that's been the big thing here, right? Is like him continuing to stay healthy is going to be something that's frankly probably going to follow him for the rest of his career. I still, feel optimistic that he'll be able to come back and be as good as he was before the surgery. But who knows? It's your second Tommy John. He's going to be out for 18 months, basically. Like, he's probably not going to throw another pitch for the Reds until April of 2028, like spring training. So like, it's going to be, it's definitely not a guarantee that he gets back to his former self. So, we'll see. I still like him as a starter. I'm not ready to give up on them, but like 2028 is kind of where I feel like we're gearing in to really make that push. Elly De La Cruz is going to be real close to free agency there. We'll hopefully be able to have something kind of settled when it comes to the lockout or the collective bargaining agreement that's going to be going on in 2027. I think that maybe even by 2028, we might be able to have bridged our way to somebody like an Alfredo Duno up here and being able to contribute, excuse me, or maybe even some of these higher prospects like a Justin LeBron or something like that, as being able to somebody who might be able to come up and give a young spark like Elliott McLean did back when they were coming up. So who knows? That's a good question. It's an interesting thing to think about. I'm not quite ready to give up on Hunter Greene quite yet. Chad Williamson, we heard Trace and Nick's Richter and Phillips Chatterbox origin stories a few days ago. How did you guys get hooked up with Chatterbox Reds, and how long have you been doing this? Great job. Well, we appreciate you, Chad. Austin, why don't you go first? How did you get? I don't think I know this story on how you got hooked up with Chatterbox Reds to help out for that.
Yeah, I guess it was almost 2 years ago at this point. But yeah, got talking with Nick, did some podcasts, I guess, in the off season, mostly to start out with it. I think it went decently well. I wouldn't say it's the F team or anything like that, but and really, I love talking to the Reds. So really just volunteering my time with these guys. Love chopping it up with, Nick and everybody, Mike, Craig, everybody. It's just a fun thing, and I've liked being a part of. So continue to do it. But yeah, just glad to be part of it, man. But yeah, it seems like went by super quick. It's like 2 seasons now, though.
Yeah, I know. So last year I actually got connected up with Chatterbox starting the pregame shows. I don't know if you guys remember that, but last year we did a pregame show for basically every game, and there was a whole bunch of people that basically they sent out kind of like a Google form. It's like, hey, who's interested? And I was interested in there, and there were a lot of folks that did that. We obviously are not doing the pregame shows. It felt like that was far more work than viewers were getting. So stopped doing that. But I started helping out a lot behind the scenes. So I do a lot of the graphic stuff, video creation, clips of certain things that help out with thumbnails and things like that. So I do a lot of the behind the scenes graphics when it comes to things. So that's kind of how I've stayed in touch with Nick, Trace, Craig, and those guys. Have helped them out. I've even done a little bit. I guess I did a little bit with Chatterbox Bengals last year. But yeah, so and I obviously love talking about the Reds, and my wife jokes that if I'm not on Chatterbox, I just have the same conversation with her sitting on the couch. So you guys now just get to hear it on the podcast.
You probably enjoy it more, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. She does a pretty good job of. She's pretty knowledgeable about the Reds too. Maybe we should have a "What do the spouses think about the Reds" show or something like that. Because she knows a lot about the Reds too and has some opinions on those. So yeah. So that's kind of how I got started with Chatterbox. I love it. I appreciate those guys very much. They work so hard. Like they're the hardest workers. Like they work so hard to get all that stuff ready and frankly get things set up so that we can do this show easily. Like they help a ton behind the scenes as well to help make sure that this goes well, even when they're not up and presenting. So yeah, we really appreciate them. And thanks for giving us a platform to talk about the Reds, because our favorite team, even though that it's a love-hate relationship, we still love getting in here and talking about Reds. All right. The last thing I have on here, I figured it was going to be a short show because quick game, but it is I put on your Chatterbox Hall of Fame. And so what I mean by that is I was thinking about the past couple of days. Sal Stewart, I think, is slowly is separated himself for the current Reds team as being in the Chatterbox Hall of Fame. What I mean by that is somebody that not only is good, and so we can put a lot of highlights of them up, but also is like very clippable for clips or posts on Instagram or on X or things like that. It seems like he's done 3 or 4 different things this year, whether it's yelling at Eric Miller for the Giants or this most recent thing with the White Sox, that, when he does stuff with his fire, he gives great quotes and things like that. He's just a dream for Chatterbox, because it's like he puts something on, you clip it up, and it's bound to do pretty well, and sometimes maybe even go viral. Another example of this is Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase for Chatterbox Sports, for specifically the Bengals, is just a gold mine. Not only does he always say crazy stuff, not only is he amazing, but then every once in a while he'll pull I'm going to spit on the Pittsburgh Steelers DB, and there's a clip that we can put out there that's going to get hundreds of thousands of views. So I pose this question to you, Austin. I'm going to pose it to the chat as well. Who do you think of past teams, maybe before Chatterbox was doing things, would have been in the Chatterbox Hall of Fame, right? So this is somebody that obviously was good enough to get clipped a lot, but also, and would do crazy things or would have great quotes or something like that, to be somebody that Chatterbox could reliably count on to clip up and mean. Like, for example, Brent Suter. Brent Suter was an awesome quote and did stuff, but he just didn't do enough amazing stuff on the field that I would say not quite in the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Chatterbox, very good. So Austin, who are some of the folks that you were thinking of that may have fallen into the Chatterbox Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I guess I'll name a couple. I don't want to take all of them from you, I guess, directly here. But the first person that came to mind, I think, would be great at it and still is kind of doing his thing on MLB Network. But Sean Casey, the mayor,
that's right,
obviously a super funny guy. Hit very well for the Reds. Just an all-time fun Reds guy to grow up and watch. So that was the first guy that came to mind. I did want to show, I guess, some love to the 2019 team. I don't know if it necessarily predates Chatterbox. It definitely predates me on Chatterbox, but Dietrich, Puig, those guys, that would have been a lot of fun. But I'll stop there, I guess. Did you have any others that I haven't named?
Yeah, that 2019 season, because that was the Amir Garrett fight year too, right?
Yeah,
that was the year. Yeah, and then they trade for Trevor Bauer in the middle of that year too. Yeah, there were some serious characters on that team that I think Yasiel Puig, I think squarely falls into this. Whether it was you making a crazy throw or yelling at pitchers or overrunning bases or whatever he was doing, I think that is a great one. Another one that I was thinking, I've seen. We can get, I'm going to save mine. We're going to go through some of the ones that people brought in, because people put some good ones in there. David Blum, Brandon Phillips. Absolutely. Right. This dude not only was a great hitter, but obviously flashed so much leather. He would have just been he was making a play every single night, basically, to get somebody who is, that would have been great. That would have done really well. I completely agree with that. Also, huge smile, would have been a pretty good guy to clip. Ocho Cinco. That's easily, imagine Chatterbox Bengals in the Ocho Cinco era. It's breaking down all of his different touchdown celebrations that he would have had. Votto, obviously it's interesting because Votto, the Chatterbox got Votto at the end of his career, but famously at the beginning of his career, Votto is not really very into talking to the media, and he got a lot better at it. So I think Chatterbox did get to benefit from the good years of, not necessarily the good years of the MVP years of Votto playing, but the MVP years of Votto as a soundbite or as a clip. Jacob Doyle, also Bronson Arroyo. That's another great one. He was a great quote and somebody that was beloved as well. We have half season if we could get as much. Yeah, that's true. I think so. We have Sean Casey. We have Molly Votto, my husband, Joey. yeah, obviously somebody that was very good. We have Castellanos, John Thompson with Castellanos. That was another good one. Rob Dibble. I forgot about. Okay, so this is where you really got to dig deep because like I recently watched the Wire to Wire documentary on YouTube. It's like an hour long about the whole season. Last time we won the World Series. If you're down on the Reds, just do yourself a favor. They have some characters. All three of the Nasty Boys are just kind of weirdos that would have been hilarious quotes and were incredible at it. We have Adam Dunn just like, hey, what massive homer would you hit here? The one that I was thinking of, and maybe this one's a little off the wall, but I was thinking somebody like a Ryan Friel. Like Ryan Friel, I feel like was always, rest in peace, obviously, tragically, lost his life there, but he's somebody that was always making not only amazing catches, but like amazing catches that were endangering his life. And as somebody that's made a bunch of clips, I hate to break it to you, but like the ones that do really good, like one of the best videos that Chatterbox ever did was Patrick Callahan smashing into the wall and breaking his arm because everyone just wants to see that craziness. So like, I'm sure Ryan Friel would have been able to add a couple just like insane plays that would have, put his body on the line. That would have been very good for Chatterbox. Any other ones that you have thought of? Maybe someone's from some previous teams, like back in whether it's the Wire to Wire or maybe even like Big Red Machine-ish era.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking the Nasty Boys as well. I see in the chat Molly Votto says Mike and Austin were babies during the Nasty Boys era. I wasn't even alive during the Nasty Boys era, so
yeah.
Unfortunately not. And I say unfortunately too because last World Series, obviously, hopefully we see one during my lifetime at least. But that would have been awesome. I think if you go back to the Big Red Machine, somebody like George Foster would have been pretty funny. I think to see on like social media clips and things like that. But also from my kind of era growing up, Adam Dunn, I thought was be a good one too. Obviously, I think Dunn's kind of strange too, because I feel like baseball stats now kind of like Dunn more than Reds fans maybe did at the time, which is kind of interesting to think of, at least fans that I remember talking to at the time. But he's still a super funny guy and obviously performed on the field. But those are mine. I kept it kind of baseball focused, but yeah, definitely some good football guys in there too.
My hot take about Adam Dunn is that if he played now, he's Kyle Schwarber. Right? Because he had to play in the field because he played in the National League. If he played now, he can just DH. We didn't have to watch his terrible glove in the outfielder at first base, and he hits just 40 home runs a year, and he would have been fawned over by the way that Kyle Schwarber was fawned over. So unfortunate that Adam Dunn played in the era that he did, because I agree, is much, much more appreciated now than he was back then, even though we all loved Big Donkey there. We got Jesse Smith with Todd Frazier. Can't forget about Todd Father. Obviously had some really, like, he would have ones where it was like, oh wow, he just hit a home run where his hand was off the bat. Or, he would have crazy, because he would hit balls that were all over the place. So that's a pretty good one. Molly Votto, Marge. Don't forget about Marge Shot. Oh boy, I didn't even think about that. Boy, if you thought that the Castellinis had some bad quotes, Marge Shot, she would have been somebody that, as Nick would say, would feed families. That's what he says whenever we get things like that. And we got Billy Hamilton, always up to something wild. That's true. The year he stole all those bases and was making crazy plays in the outfield. That's a really good one. Icky Woods, just anytime he did the Icky Shuffle, like he's also a pretty good quote about all that. Here's a good one. Gino Suarez. Like, I agree. Like, if you're talking about current Reds, I think Sal Stewart's there, but Gino, the whole have a good day, Jim Day bit and all that kind of stuff, and just like as much of the good stuff that he's done and how likable of a dude he is. Yeah, Gino Suarez I think could be one as well. Let's see if there's any other ones in here.
Suarez especially, though, if you gotta look up the clip after this of Suarez reading the Skyline Chili promotion
and the rain delay,
like,
or
there's like a pregame, something probably rain delay. It's hilarious, but anyway.
It is. Yes, I have seen that and have started crying. I was laughing so hard because of him writing. It's very, very good. Here's one interesting one. Johnny Gomes would be good. So here's what I would posit to you. Nothing nothing for something. Johnny Gomes, great quote, great dude. I would posit he didn't quite do enough good stuff to make. He'd be in my pretty good Hall of pretty good for Chatterbox. He obviously, you know, was a big driver in the clubhouse and stuff like that for those good teams right at the 2010s. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we got Prime Time. That's another one. That's one where I wasn't around for that one, but imagining him being able to put that in there, that would have been great, getting a quote from Prime Time and basically getting all that crossover views from football, basically, as you know, seeing Prime Time run the bases for the Reds. And we got Scooter Gennett. I don't know. I guess Scooter Gennett is like, he's in our intro, right? For hitting 4 home runs, right? So, he did have a very signature moment in Cincinnati. I don't know if he did much else besides that. Like, I can't think of anything else that Scooter Gennett did. I guess he did make an all-star team with the Reds. But yeah, maybe Scooter Gennett. That's an interesting one. But yeah, Sal Stewart, we're super thankful for you. Sorry.
No, I don't. Nobody's, at least I haven't seen the Hit King, Pete Rose, man. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine if like Instagram stories existed, like when Pete Rose was playing, or like if he could tweet and things like that?
John Boy reading his lips as he cussed out every pitcher that threw anywhere close to him or something like that, or listening to the catchers as they're mad though after he ran him over. That's a good one. Yeah, Pete Rose would have been a very interesting one in the age of Chatterbox. Michael Rolfe with the $9.99 super chat. This is impeccable conversation. Sal Track is fast tracking his way to C-Box Hall of Fame. Couldn't agree more. To be honest, he keeps this up, he might be fast tracking himself to the Reds Hall of Fame. This is a guy that we love. He's obviously a great quote, and I just love his dedication to winning. Like he doesn't care about what he seems to care about is helping the team win, and that is just a really refreshing thing. I hope he plays for the Reds for significant time. I mean, one bad thing about potentially losing a year, right, is that you potentially lose a full season of Sal Stewart. But we'll see what the lockout brings and whether they even play next year. But that is, we appreciate you, Sal Stewart, not only for the great play on the field, but for all of the great content that you're able to gin up for Chatterbox Reds. So let us move on to Reds MILB. But first, let's talk about let's talk about 78 Cigars. I want to thank 78 Cigars and Cincinnati legend Anthony Munoz. He has a new venture, and we are fired up to partner with him on Chatterbox Reds. Introducing 78 Cigars, a premium cigar line for the Hall of Famer himself. If you love great cigars in Cincinnati football history, this is a perfect combination. You can grab 78 Cigars right now at both Montgomery Inn locations or over at Creekside Cigar Company. You can check them out online. Just head to anthonymunoz.com, click on 78 Cigars page, and learn more or place your order today. That's 78 Cigars from the greatest offensive lineman to ever do it, Anthony Munoz. Okay, Reds MILB. So this was taken before we got all of the finals. It looks like some of these games are, because the Reds game started so early, most of these games are actually still going. But it looks like Louisville was winning 1-0 to Toledo. It is now 9-1 over Toledo, so that is good for Louisville in their trek there. Down to Double-A, Chattanooga was winning 2-1. Now they're losing 5-2 in the bottom of the 6th. But then down in Dayton, they are losing 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th. But that one run, remember, was Justin LeBron's first home run. Congratulations, LeBron. Hopefully he's able to have many more for Dayton this year. Down in Daytona, they continued their hot streak. They won 5-2 over Palm Beach. It is great to see that team turned around. We'll see. Hopefully they'll be able to play themselves into a playoff spot just like last year. And then in the DSL, looks like the DSL Reds completed a rainout game where they beat the DSL Astros Blue 10-3. Then they played another game against the DSL Astros Blue and beat them 4-0. And then the DSL Cubs Blue beat the DSL Rojas 6-1. And that is your Reds MILB update. Now with a little bit of who, what, where, when, and how for tomorrow's game. Obviously, we continue to play the Marlins tomorrow at 6:40 at Great American Ballpark. It is right-hander Ryan Gusto facing off against Brady Singer. Ryan Gusto, a 0-3 record with a 4.78 ERA. And Brady Singer, 5-11 with a 4.66 ERA. Ryan Gusto actually, he throws 7 pitches. So he throws all 7 pitches. I think 6 of them over 10%. So it's all over the place. He's only faced the Reds once, and it was in relief. And JJ Bleday has homered off of him. So that's really the only active Red that has done anything about him. Brady Singer, on the other hand, the current Marlins are batting .353 with an 882 OPS off of him. In his last start against the Marlins, which took place on April 8th, he only went 2 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned runs, and 3 strikeouts. Griffin Conines, 2 for 2 with a homer. Xavier Edwards is 5 for 8 with a double. And Augustin Ramirez is 2 for 5 with 2 doubles. So let's hope that Brady Singer can, flip the switch or flip the script on the Marlins because, he hasn't seen a lot of success against them in the most recent time that he's faced him. I think that is about all we have tonight. Is there anything, Austin, that you want to finish up? I appreciate you joining me on tonight. It's only 9:20. We got 56 minutes out of this crazy short game, pitcher's duel. But is there anything, Austin, before we sign off that you want to highlight for us?
No, fun show. I think, tomorrow it's kind of the battle of the Marlins have kind of seen Singer a lot, but it doesn't seem like we've seen their pitcher much at all. I think Brian Hayes has the most at-bats lifetime against him. So not sure what we'll get out of the Reds offense tomorrow, but hopefully it is more than they got tonight. But if they get what the Marlins got out of their offense tonight, then we don't have to get too much at all. So figure that one out.
Yeah, we'll see. The pitcher is going tomorrow, not nearly the caliber going today. We'll see. Hopefully Brady Singer, if I remember right, Brady Singer, I think, was not necessarily helped out very much by his defense in that game. I think he gave up 6 runs, 5 earned, but I think there was some other plays maybe that got logged as hits that maybe should have been made by the defense. So hopefully the defense can show up for Brady Singer and he can give us a good outing there. And hopefully the Reds offense can take advantage of Ryan Gusto. For Austin and I, we just say thank you. Thanks for everyone that's in here, hopped in there. Great discussion about Chatterbox Hall of Famers. Is a fun thing to think about. We appreciate everyone's in there. Make sure as you leave, drop us a like on the way out. It really helps this channel. Subscribe if you want to be notified for other Chatterbox Reds content. Chatterbox Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals win their first preseason game. Joe Burrow didn't get hurt. That's a positive thing. Defense looks a little bit better, so it's good to see all. Yeah, I know. It's good thing to see a lot of things going on in Chatterbox Reds. Drop a podcast review as well if you could. So thank you all, everyone, for being in here. It's truly an honor to help out with some Chatterbox Reds, and we will see you all tomorrow. I believe Nick is actually going to be on tomorrow with I'm not sure who, but he's getting a weekend edition in there, and we'll see him tomorrow. So if there isn't anything else, I'll sign us off with a nice little Go Reds.